Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live Argentina discussion. My name is Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. I'm joined by Osvaldo Godoy, also of Mundo Albiceleste.com, and we are here to discuss a lot of transfer news. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot, and some that could play a role for Argentina at the World Cup. This is going to be massive. I'm not alone, of course. I'm joined by Osvaldo Godoy, as I mentioned, mundoobsessi.com. Let us know down below, as always, where you're watching from. We always tend to get from all around the world. First things first, Osvaldo, how are you and how is everything, my friend?
I'm doing well, Roy. A pleasure to join you as always. A lot to talk about in terms of transfer news. Tottenham against PSG. Cuti Romero is the captain of Tottenham. That match. A lot of topics as always. So very excited.
Yes, yes, yes. And we can't forget, of course, Cuti Romero captaining Tottenham Hotspur. We have BC all the way from NYC. Thank you for joining us, BC. We have Joel. Hey, boys, good to see you both. Thank you for joining us, Joel, as well. It means a lot. Hemlock Bar. Hi, guys. Hello, Hemlock Bar. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. If you're new, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. Uh, Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Let's do it. We got Marcus Dobson as well talking about Mastantuono. We're going to talk about that and we're going to come back to this particular comment. First things first, Nico Gonzalez potentially joining Atletico Madrid. I'll let you talk in just a second, Osvaldo, and I want your opinion and I want everybody else's opinion. I would love this. That's all I'm going to say for now. I'll let you take over this one, Osvaldo.
Yes, I mean, and he's your guy. He's your favorite too.
Yeah.
And I think, and I told you this over text. As soon as I saw the news, I was like, it's the type of player that Simeone likes. Someone that runs, that can help defending, but he also good in attack. That he can be everywhere in the field, basically. And it surprises me a little bit though because he recently joined Juventus. What was it, like a year ago, maybe?
Yeah, last year from Fiorentina.
Yes. Yes, I think he was injured at some point this year. I think he started sometimes even as a main striker, then sometimes as a left winger. That I think is more his position. Sometimes not even starting. I remember that match against Real Madrid in the Club World Cup where he entered, I think, with 10 minutes left. So maybe he's not too comfortable in Juventus. Juventus is also not the Juventus that it used to be a couple of years ago. And it would be very interesting to see another Argentine in Atletico Madrid. Simeone really likes Argentinians, although he lost Angel Correa and Rodrigo de Paul, one in Tigres, one in Inter Miami. But it would be very interesting.
Oh no, I mean you said it, right? This is my boy. I was not a fan of Nico Gonzalez joining Juventus, not for anything, just because you said Juventus is not the same Juventus as before. Uh, he is a great two-way player, loves to attack, loves to defend. Him under Diego Simeone, I think, could do wonders. You have him on one side, and I'm talking about for Argentina, but in general, having him on one side, you have Simeone on the other side, Juliano Simeone on the right wing, who's almost a mirror image of Nico Gonzalez in terms of the work rate, love to attack, love to defend, two-way players. I love this, and he loves Argentine players. You mentioned Correa and De Paul. He lost, but there's still a couple. Molina still there, of course. Juan Musso still there. Julian Alvarez being the big name, and that's something for Argentina that essentially you could have on the left Nico Gonzalez, up front Julian Alvarez, and on the right side Simeone. And those are three Argentine players who are presently part of the Argentina national team. And barring injuries and suspensions and whatnot, that could be Argentina. That could be Argentina's front three at a
And
match.
And you're forgetting of one player, Thiago Almada,
Diego
who
Almada.
the other day Atletico Madrid played against Newcastle. They won 2-0. Julian Alvarez scored. And the three on front was Thiago Almada on the left, Julian Alvarez, and Juliano Simeone. Imagine if you add Nico Gonzalez to that three.
There, there you go. No, 100%. Marcus Dobson saying Atletico is preparing the Argentinians for the World Cup in 2026. It is that, at least in attack. We've spoken about Molina in the past and everything that he has going on with Atletico. But in attack, those four players, you included Almada, of course, that's a good attack. That's a very, very good attack for Argentina. I like this one very, very much. You look at where Nico Gonzalez was a couple of years ago, Stuttgart, Fiorentina, and now potentially Atletico Madrid. I'm a fan, big time. And Matthias, how are you, Matthias? Matthias saying Nico provides width, which is great. He does, and he's versatile. He can play as a left back. He has played as a left back, as a left midfielder, as a left winger. You mentioned at Juventus, kind of a center forward. Maybe, I don't know if it was a striker, but kind of a second forward. So I like this one. I don't know what everyone else thinks in the chat, but clearly you and I are fans of this one as well, though.
For sure, for sure. We'll see if it happens. I honestly don't know when the transfer market closes. It has to be some point soon. We're gonna talk about the leagues that start this weekend. So if Simeone wants him, they have to hurry up. I don't know what might have happened in the last couple of friendly matches or so that made Simeone made this decision almost at the end of the transfer market.
Oh, it's true. I don't know why he waited so long. The transfer ends, I believe, at the end of the month. Last day of August is when it ends. And let's not forget either. We were kind of talking about this just before, and this is going to talk, in terms of the other players as well. But this is a World Cup year. This is going to count for the players, how they perform, where they perform, how well they do. It's a World Cup year if they want to get there. Thiago Almada, obviously, playing very well. Julian Alvarez. Simeone, it's going to be a big season for him, and Nico Gonzalez as well. Even though I think he's a favorite of Scaloni's, which I don't blame because I love him as well. All right. We're getting a lot of talk about Mastantuono and everything, and we still have Garnacho and everyone else to talk about. So we're going to get to that. The other big one, Federico Redondo joining Elche, leaving Inter Miami, joining them until 2030. So essentially a 5-year deal. I want to say this is surprising, but at the same time, I'm not too surprised that he made the jump to Europe.
No, and although I don't know, I expected him to go maybe to a bigger European club. The truth is that Federico Redondo wasn't having many minutes in this season with Inter Miami. Since Rodrigo de Paul joined Inter Miami with Mascherano, play with two center midfielders. One always Busquets, who was a very similar characteristic that Federico Redondo. And the other one would be Rodrigo de Paul. Those, when Messi is on the field, those are the two center midfielders. And even sometimes when one of those two were not there, or even now that Messi is not playing because he's injured, De Paul plays a little bit more in front, and even Yannick Bright, another center midfielder, plays in his position, or even sometimes Kremaski. So he's really not having many minutes for Inter Miami.
No, he's at all. And you mentioned the names in front of him. He's obviously, I'm a big Busquets fan. I think he's the greatest, or at least in the top 3 in his position ever, in the defensive midfield role. But he's 36, 37. The fact that Redondo still cannot, play alongside him or break the starting 11 and get ahead of him, for me, that is worrying. But the fact that he is going to La Liga could be a good thing. You mentioned maybe a bigger club. Ideally, yes, but at the same time, for him to maybe revive his career, get that first jump over in Europe. If he could stay a season or 2 with Elche, and then depending how he does there, go to a bigger team, whether it's in La Liga or elsewhere in Europe, that could certainly help him. Is he going to be at the World Cup with Argentina? Absolutely not. I don't see any chance of that whatsoever.
No.
But in the future, in 2 years from now, Copa America, or 3 years from now, 4 years for the World Cup, you never know what could happen. But for now, it could be a good thing.
For sure, and there's so many Argentine players in that position. We talk about it a lot of times, but I think it's a good move. I agree with you because, and it talks good about him because even if you ask me, I would stay in Inter Miami. I would play alongside Messi, Busquets in Miami, But it talks well for him to really think about his career first, to try to go for some playing time. I also believe that he has, again, a very similar characteristic to Busquets. Busquets is doing really well. I would say that, taking Messi aside, from all the Barcelona legends, the one that performs the best is Sergio Busquets. He plays really well, even though he's 36, 37. And he has a very similar characteristic. And Mascherano, in that way, he needs a center midfielder like Busquets or Redondo, and then another one that can run and be more like De Paul, even Kremaski. And that's why I think Federico Redondo doesn't fit, in that team.
Yeah, no, 100%. And especially, I don't think he's there yet. So I think in the transitions, especially considering he's not the fastest of players either. Before anyone says Busquets was never the fastest player either, but we can't compare Redondo to Busquets. It's not even close to the same level. But the fact that Redondo doesn't necessarily have the speed on his side either, I don't think that helps, especially in transition. And like you said, you mentioned the players that are ahead of him: Kremaski, De Paul, and obviously Busquets. So this could be a good move for him. This, I think, could be a very, very good move for him in the long run. Maybe not right now, but in the long run, could be a good one. And Matias saying Redondo needs to revive his career. He showed promise once. He did. He certainly did. And obviously everyone compared him to his father, Fernando Redondo, probably alongside Busquets, the greatest in that position. But Federico, not quite there, but we'll see. All right, another one that we're going to get to is Alejandro Garnacho. There was a comment here, BC, saying Garnacho missing the World Cup probably. He's been heavily linked to Chelsea. He would join Enzo Fernandez and Aaron Anselmino. This could be a good move, but this could be a move that could maybe make or break Garnacho for the World Cup. I don't know.
Yes, definitely he has to leave Manchester United. He's not taking into consideration there, so he definitely has to move. I don't know if Chelsea is the best club to do so. For me now, Chelsea and arguably is the best team in the world. I mean, they just won the Club World Cup. They beat PSG in the final. So, but again, they have so many players at Chelsea, especially in midfield and up. You know, so I don't know how much playing time he will have in case he goes to Chelsea.
That's the other thing. Exactly. I mean, Chelsea have so many players already and so many players in attack. But learning under Enzo, the coach, not the player, that could be a big advantage. He would be joining one of the best teams, or at least on paper, from the Club World Cup, the best team in the world, of course. And there's a lot to learn from there. I think the environment maybe at United, the constant change of coaches wasn't the best. Obviously, he's still very young. I don't know how his entourage is, if the people who he's listening to and everything, but he has to continue to mature as a player, continue to grow as a player. And if it's not with United, Garnacho going to Chelsea might not be a bad thing, but I think he has to understand that if he does go to Chelsea, he in all likelihood will not be starting the majority of matches. Maybe not.
Yeah, and something really different has to happen from now to the World Cup for Garnacho to really have a spot in that list of the World Cup.
There's a lot of names. There's a lot of names, and I agree. I've always been a Garnacho fan since what it was. I mean, since he kind of burst onto the scene 2022 or so, at the very start of 2022. He's exciting to watch, but and I'll there he goes. I think this is a good comment here from Matias. Garnacho has slipped many levels in the last year. Sorry, I think he will miss the World Cup. It's very possible. It's very possible because of one of the reasons you just mentioned, Osvaldo. There is a lot of competition up front for Garnacho, especially out wide now. So we'll see what gives with Garnacho. Rihanna and Rihanna, hello. Sorry for the late joining. No worries. Welcome, and good morning to you. And thank you for joining. Rihanna talking about Garnacho, his family must not interfere every time. I know his brother's on social media. He's on X, he's on Twitter, and a lot of times he's posted some stuff. We'll see what gives with Garnacho. The other one, really quickly, we'll touch upon, and then we're going to talk about Franco Mastantuono and another player. But Mariano Troilo to Parma. He was called up by Scaloni for Argentina, the tall center back from Belgrano. He was called up in May, didn't play for Argentina in the June matches. But do you think he could actually be an option for the World Cup? I mean, depending what happens with the center backs, there's obviously a lot of competition. Leo Balerdi, Otamendi, Cuti, Lisandro Martinez coming back from injury. But could we potentially be seeing him maybe on the short list for the World Cup?
I mean, there is a lot of competition. You're right with that. And it was very surprising when he was called up to the national team. I honestly haven't followed him much. I think it's a very similar case to Cuti Romero, both from Belgrano, and then they went to Europe. And as soon as Cuti Romero played with the national team, we all said, okay, he's our starting center back. I don't know if something like this could happen with Mariano Troilo. but who knows? And Scaloni chose him when no one else thought about him, and it kind of reminded me. Honestly, I don't know if you remember the first time Julian Alvarez was called up. Like
Yeah.
he was playing in River Plate, but just having some minutes every now and then. And when he was called up, it was a surprise, and then it turned out to be Julian Alvarez. We'll see. We'll see if something like this happens with Mariano.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Alvarez, you mentioned Cuti Romero. So it has happened with Argentina, with under Scaloni. Could we get this with Mariano? It's a possibility, but I think he's going to have a very, very good season because there's a lot of competition in that spot. And Matias saying, no, maybe in a couple of years he might come in. I think that's fair to say. Maybe not the World Cup, but I mean, hey, you never know what could happen. You absolutely never know what could happen. All right, let's get to someone that everyone's talking about lately, or at least today, Franco Mastantuono and Nicolás, both of them expressing their desire to be at the World Cup with Argentina. It's not far-fetched. We could maybe get them both at the World Cup.
Yes, I honestly see them both going to the World Cup. We can talk about other youngsters that also might have some chances. Matias Solé, I don't know, Valentin Carboni. Um, the truth is that, for example, I don't know, I want to ask you this, Roy. For me, right now, Mastantuono and Nico Paz have more chances than, for example, Paulo Dybala.
I agree with that. 100% I agree with that. Dybala's almost kind of like an afterthought at this point, uh, whereas Mastantuono and Nicolás have much more recently, been with the Argentina national team. And something that, not to stay too much on Dybala, but we've seen his history with the national team. It's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Whereas looking at two youngsters, fresh young players in Paz and Mastantuono, they certainly have the chance, especially Nico Pass. Scaloni seems to like him a lot, and we could see why the talent is there. For Mastantuono, maybe a little bit more difficult just because he's going to be at Madrid. It's his first season at the club. How many minutes is he going to play? Whereas Nico Pass, if I'm not mistaken, will be wearing the number 10 shirt for Como, playing under Fabregas. Already, it's his second season at the club. He's done very well. So both of those players, yes, I do agree with you. I don't know if you agree, but I do think, yes, that both of them have a much better chance than Dybala being at the World Cup.
Yes, yes. And then you have other players like Solé, Facundo Buenanote, or even in the midfield, someone who is playing, starting to play with Benfica is doing really well. Enzo Barrenechea. I don't know.
Better.
Do you see which, if you have to say one youngster that is not Mastantuono or Nico Paz, who do you think has a good chance to go to the World Cup?
Yeah, there's two, and you name them both. Matias Sule, I think, has a very good chance, and Enzo Barrenechea. I think he has a lot of chance. In midfield, specifically for Argentina, Lo Celso, I know Scaloni loves Lo Celso, and we all do, but can Lo Celso make the World Cup? Is he going to be healthy enough for the World Cup? Palacios is another one, right? He's done well with Bayer Leverkusen, and he's been there since the beginning under Scaloni, but in a World Cup year, if you have, let's say, Barrenechea doing much better than Lo Celso or much better than Palacios going into the World Cup, is it that crazy to think that he gets included over one of them? So
Yeah.
I do see Sule. I mean, Sule has to really shine because there's a lot of competition, but same for everyone else. But I think Sule has a chance, and Barrenechea could be maybe similar to Enzo Fernandez, where he just kind of gets in at the very end, like he
Yeah.
did in 2022.
Both Enzos. I
Both ends.
have one name that I think he hasn't been called up to the national team yet, and I think he will be a starter in the 2026 World Cup. Can you guess who I'm thinking?
Oh my gosh, a start. I want to say it's a fullback.
Yes,
It's a fullback. Is it the right back?
yes.
Yeah, I think Agustin
I
Gay.
was thinking, I was thinking, because again, Molina is not really play. It's not really starting with Atletico Madrid. When he plays, he doesn't. He's not doing a great job. Gonzalo Montiel, with River Plate, also not having really good matches. And Agustin Jai, who's still young, who with Palmeiras he did a great World Cup. I imagine him really having a spot in the World Cup first, and then potentially being a starter.
Oh, I 100% see that. I completely see that. You mentioned Montiel, you mentioned Molina. They both more than helped Argentina in 2022, of course. But going into 2026, where neither of them are really doing too well, and Agustin he's done well with Palmeiras for a while now, not just at the Club World Cup. Obviously, he caught the eye of many at the Club World Cup, but he's been doing well way before that. I think we could see him. And I brought up the comments from, I believe it was Hemlock and Matias, talking about do we have fullbacks? I think we have one in right back, and maybe Bernabé, the left back with the Internacional alongside Tagliafico. So I think we're going to see some surprises. Yes, I think something like that could happen, where we could get a right back, and time will tell. I think in September we have the World Cup qualifiers. In October we have friendly matches. Maybe in October we could see some new faces, at least in
Yeah.
friendly matches.
Yeah. And that left back position is also gonna be interesting because I think Tagliafico will start and
Of
he's
course.
our left back. But then you have options like Julio Soler, Valentin Barco, and the other one that you just mentioned,
Alex Bernabé.
Bernabé. Out of those three, there's probably gonna be one spot for one of those three.
Maybe, and then you get Nico Gonzalez, Facundo Medina. Who knows? We have some versatile players as well.
That's true.
Lisandro Martinez is another one. But in terms of an out and out full left back, yeah, we don't have too many right now. So we'll see. And you mentioned Soler, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Premier League in just a couple of moments as well. Matias talking about Barco. I hope so for Barco. Going back just a little bit, Rihanna, I think Enzo Bernachea will have a good season. I think so, and I hope so as well. All right, before we get to the Premier League, and that's a big one that we're going to talk about, we're going to preview the Argentine players over there. Some big news. Erik Lamela, at 33 years of age, retiring. I remember when he was still coming up with River Plate. This was very surprising, this one, for me.
For me too. Very, very surprising. Yeah, he started in River Plate. He was one of the best players in that River Plate, but that was also the team that was relegated to the second division. But that tournament, they didn't do bad at all. At that moment, the Argentinian league had. It's not that the last one in the standings was relegated, but it was an average on the last three tournaments. So River Plate did a great tournament. That was actually we're going to qualify to the Copa Sudamericana, but because of the other two tournaments that they did really bad, one of them was coached by Simeone. They ended up being relegated, and in that team, for example, was Matias Almeida for River Plate. Then he went to Roma, Tottenham Hotspur, Sevilla. So really good teams, a good career. I think that in Tottenham, didn't he win the Puskas there?
I believe for the Rabona. Yeah, it was the Rabona. I believe it was a Europa League game or a Champions League game at the time. I remember this was in 2015 at the very start, if I'm not mistaken. It was for a Rabona goal from just outside the penalty area.
Yeah.
Because he had two. He had one, I can't remember versus whom, and one versus Arsenal as well.
Yeah, great player. And then he ended up, well, he was playing right now in Greece, in the
Ike Athens.
Athens, yes. And the coach there was Matias Almeida. And now apparently he would join Matias Almeida coaching stuff at Sevilla.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, at one point, he was very injury prone throughout his career, specifically with Tottenham, but really everywhere. With Argentina, he was part of the Copa Centenario team in 2016. So he kind of had his chances with Argentina. He's a very exciting player to watch. Very much left-footed. His right foot practically did not exist. Very left-footed, but yeah, he was an interesting career because the talent was clearly there. The work rate was there as well. It was just mostly the injuries. He went from River Plate to Roma, where he did well, and then a big move to Tottenham, which he was there for a while, for about 6 or 7 years at Tottenham, and he was, I'll say, a fan favorite there. I know a lot of people liked him, but it was the injuries. It really, really was the injuries. And then after that, I believe, yes, he went to Sevilla and then Ike Athens. So an interesting career path, retiring at 33 to join Matias Almeida in the coaching staff at 33, for me, that's the interesting one.
It is. It is. Looking at his career. Well, he played with Argentina the Copa America of 2015 and the Copa America of
Okay.
2016.
Okay.
In the 2015, he only played one match, but I didn't remember honestly that in the Copa Centenario, the one in the US, he played 6 matches and he scored 2 goals.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe there was one in the first match versus Chile, if I'm not mistaken. Di Maria was suspended, was he? Or Di Maria scored, but I think he played versus Chile in that match. Although my memory might be failing me right now, but I remember him more in 2016 than in 2015, certainly. Um, let's get to the chat. Matias, I like Lamela. He did win the Puskas, but injuries ruined him. There you are. And the Rabona goal. I'm trying to find where. Yeah, in 2021 is when he won it. It was a goal, North London derby. Okay, so it was in 2021. Actually, my mistake. It was the goal versus Arsenal. That one won him the Puskas because he had also scored a Rabona in 2015. So it was the one versus Arsenal that won it. A great goal, a great goal from them. But that's that for Erik Lamela. Very surprising. Matthias asking, what do you guys think are Carboni's chances? Look, Valentin Carboni just came back from a very big injury. I believe he was at Marseille when he got injured. He's back with Inter, I believe. Although I'll check now, but I believe he's back at Inter or he went on loan. I
I
believe he
think
went
he
on
went
loan.
somewhere. I believe he went
He
somewhere.
went to Genoa. Genoa on loan. There you are.
Yeah.
I don't know if Genoa is a big, I'm saying this all respect in the world. I don't know if Genoa is a big enough club for him to perform and do so well where he's going to go to the World Cup. Although it's a possibility, I don't know what you
Yeah.
think, Osvaldo.
No, in that position, there's too much competition. I
Yeah,
mean, first of all, left-footed players that play in that side of the field, you have Messi first, and then yeah, maybe Nico Paz, Franco Mastantuono, and it's
Dybala.
Dybala. Scaloni is not gonna take more than two, maybe three. Let's say three players in that role, but then you can only take 26 in the list. So, and we also need left backs, right backs. So I don't see Valentin Carboni going. I really don't see him.
No, I don't know. It's I think the injury last season or at the start of the season, I think that one hurt him obviously significantly in terms of his recovery and everything. Had he not been injured, I don't know if he would be on loan at Genoa. I think he would have done very well, and then maybe a bigger club would have picked him. But it is a risk. It has to be said for a team, and I hate to say it, but for a team to take Valentin Carboni right now off the big kind of injury that he had, that is a risk because he's either going to do good and he's fine, or a relapse. And unfortunately, that is the truth. It has happened many times before. Hopefully, it's not a relapse, and he does well. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't see Scaloni taking Carboni to the World Cup, not with the competition ahead of him right now. Not at all, Matias. Agreeing with that. Marcus, Argentina for the World Cup again, back to back. We will defend our crown. The talents we have are too much. Hopefully, my friend, very hopeful on that. Again, as always, everybody hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button to be the first person notified as soon as a new video drops. All right, let's get to it. The big thing we have coming up this weekend is the start of the European leagues, La Liga starting, the Premier League starting. It's a World Cup year. We always have to focus a little bit on the Premier League players. And Osvaldo, we have a total of 15 Argentine players in the Premier League this season. We can go through them individually if you'd like. And of course, everybody, please send us your comments. Let us know what you think of the players. How do you think they're going to do? What's going to happen? And then we'll go through the fixture list for the first week. First things first, Aston Villa with Emiliano Martinez and Emiliano Buendia. Surprisingly enough, Emiliano Martinez remaining at Aston Villa, even though it looked like he was going to leave, but he's staying there. Martinez will likely be the number one, of course, barring anything crazy. How do you think it's going to go for Buendia?
We'll see. I mean, he was in Bayer Leverkusen, now coming back to Aston Villa. Hopefully, he starts more. I think at some point he was really being a good player for Aston Villa a year ago or so, and then he got injured. Um, but I hope he has a lot of minutes. It's interesting also to really see what really happened with Emiliano Martinez. I remember him the last match with Aston Villa last season, him saying goodbye, really with tears in his eyes, and now he's continued playing for Aston Villa. I don't know what happened in the middle because everyone knows that he's the top three best goalkeepers in the world right now.
100%. I don't know what happened with him. He was linked at one point with Manchester United, briefly linked with Barcelona, linked at one point, I think, even with Chelsea. So I don't know what's going on. He's gonna stay at Aston Villa. Um, Obviously, it's Emiliano Martinez. We know what's gonna happen. Buendia's. This is as good of he has as much of a chance as anybody right now to make the World Cup if he does well, because there's a lot of competition. He's a versatile player, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of competition for him as well. That's the other thing. Let's take a look at the chat. Matias talking about Romero, yes, being the Tottenham captain. Pepto Bismol Guardiola saying Emmy's age worked against him. I don't know how much it would have worked against him. I mean, as a goalkeeper, he's still young or not old, let's say. Still has a couple of years left in him. I don't know how much it worked against him, but with everything going on, I mean, Donnarumma leaving PSG, it looks like he's joining Manchester City. So I don't know what's going to happen there with that, but let's see. Best of luck to them. After that, Bournemouth with Julio Soler and Marco Senesi. Wow. Soler left back, very, very possible. And Senesi is center back, more competition.
Yes, yes. The truth is that last season, though, they really didn't were starters for Bournemouth. Hopefully, this season they can have more playing time.
Yeah. Soler has a chance to prove himself, did well at the Olympics, um, and it's a left back position. So he really has a big, big chance of making the World Cup if he does well. If he
Yeah,
does well.
yeah. And Senesi, when he had his best, when he was in his best, Scaloni didn't call him. So I really see it very difficult for Senesi at some point to get called up.
Yeah, he was initially called up at the very start of last season for the national team, but he got injured, and since then he wasn't called again for the rest of the season. So I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of competition at center backs for Argentina. He might not be the fastest player in the world, but he's done well. He's done well in general for Bournemouth. So we'll see. We'll see. George, hello. I want Racing. Yeah, welcome, George. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Mattia, Senesi needs to be looked at more for the national team. I agree. I agree. I think he deserves a shot. Next up, someone that's back in the Premier League or back with Brighton, excuse me, from Leicester, who was on loan there last season. Facundo Buonanotte previously made the Argentina national team a couple of times. Big season. It's a World Cup season. I'll say it now. I don't think Buonanotte makes the World Cup for Argentina.
Another left-footed player that has a similar role than all the ones that we've been talking about. No, I agree with you, but I still think that he's very young and that he's very, very talented. Sometimes he can play as a right winger, sometimes more as behind the striker. I really want to see him play a lot more this season, even with Leicester, them being relegated, and the coach didn't even start him or put him most of the time. So hopefully this time he has a coach that likes him more, basically.
Yeah, it was he under Ruud van Nistelrooy, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe it was under Ruud van Nistelrooy. Um, Look, yeah, there's just a lot of competition. I think he'll do well at Leicester. I'm not saying no. I think he'll do well, but not enough to make the World Cup. Absolutely not. And but you never know. You never know. Joao Vitor, hello guys. Hello, Joao. Joao, all the way from Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, from Brazil. And Matias saying Buona notte, no. And yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Next up, we got two big ones, or one big one, and maybe a third in there included. Chelsea with Enzo Fernandez, Eren Anselmino, and who knows, maybe Garnacho. We'll talk about Garnacho again after. Um, Enzo, I think that's the big name there.
Yes, and Chelsea that ended up a great season, winning the Conference League, winning the Club World Cup, and I think they're back to be the Chelsea that used to be just a couple of years ago. We'll see if in a long tournament, a very competitive one like the Premier League, they can continue with that level. Enzo Fernandez can continue showing his level. I remember as soon as he got to Chelsea, he was playing well, but the team was doing really, really bad. Hopefully, now that the team is doing really well, he can continue performing the way he did in the Club World Cup and in general.
Yeah, and you know what helps in a way, and it sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. But maybe what helps Enzo a little bit is because Chelsea have such a big squad. There are certain times where he might be rested, because I think they're going to be pushing for the Premier League this season. I don't know if they're going to win it, but they're going to be pushing for the Premier League. So if there's some games where Enzo has to be rested, they might be able to afford to rest him because they have such a big squad. But as you mentioned, he's been good with them, especially when he joined. And Chelsea at the time were not doing too well, but it looks like it kind of stabilized there. As for Anselmino, I mean, there were talks of him going out on loan, so I don't know how much time he's going to get with Chelsea, to be honest. I don't think so. All right. Let's get to the chat. IKLYK. Hello. Nice to hear back from you guys. Nice. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining. Great to be back live on YouTube. Joao Vitor, born Brazilian, but my heart will always be Argentina. Awesome to be with you here. Thank you, Joao. Thank you for the kind words. And being an Argentina fan. Thank you for that. All right. Next up at Crystal Palace. This is one that surprised many. And to be honest, it surprised me because I don't think he's going to be the number one. Walter Benitez, the goalkeeper with Crystal Palace.
Yeah, surprising. I mean, he won the Community Shield just a couple of days ago, but he didn't play. And he was starting playing and being an important player at PSV, winning some trophies. And now he goes to the Premier League, which, yes, it's a jump from the league in
Eredivisie.
Netherlands, yeah, to this one. Uh, but still, not a, in my opinion, not a great club. And if he's not even gonna start, I don't know if it's the right decision.
I don't know about that either, to be honest. I equate this a little bit to when Juan Musso joined Atletico Madrid, knowing there's absolutely no way he's going to replace Oblak as the number one. Benitez going to Crystal Palace, I don't particularly understand. Is he going to continue to be the number two or number three goalkeeper with Argentina? Maybe, maybe not. It's going to depend on how the season goes. But it's an odd one for me, for sure. It's an odd one for me. We'll get to Matthias. I see your comment, my friend. I'll get to it once we get to United. It's an interesting one. I like it. Up next, we have Everton, Carlos Alcaraz. He's been on loan a couple of times at a couple of places with Everton, scored 1 or 2 goals last season. I'm not expecting much from him, to be honest.
He's been, I'm trying to search all the clubs he's been playing so far. He's still very young, but he just played in so many teams, in so many leagues.
Mattias saying, call up Franco Armani again to the national team. Although Armani, I think, retired from Argentina from the national team.
Yeah, but Carlos Alcaraz, he played in Racing, Southampton, Juventus, Flamengo, and Everton. All this within a couple of years. He's 22.
22. Wow. Okay, yeah. He's averaging 1 club a season, pretty much.
Yes.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. And he's talented. There is some talent there, of course, but the constant changing back and forth. I don't know if he's made for the Premier League. I know he had a couple of good games with Southampton a couple of years back. I don't know if he's made for the Premier League. That's it, to be honest with you. We'll see. Up next, we have the reigning Premier League champion, Alexis McAllister, the number 10. He's become undisputed part of the starting 11 for Argentina.
For sure. They lost the Community Shield that day. He missed his penalty. He wasn't a starter, but I'm sure he will be a starter in this season. Liverpool has a lot of new players, really good transfer market that Liverpool made. But again, we expect McAllister to continue starting, and I don't know if to repeat the title and the Premier League Championship, but at least to still fight for it, until the end.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I agree. We could maybe give our predictions towards the end, but I see Liverpool fighting for the title. Matthias, a big fan of McAllister. And a question here, a bit off topic, Argentina, Spain. We could get to that towards the end. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that one. All right. Up next is another youngster, and someone that might go out on loan, Manchester City, Claudio Echeverri. This is I mean, I don't know what to think of this one. I think he goes out on loan.
Yes, yes, and if he's not gonna play much, I think it might be the best decision. I remember him scoring a really nice free kick with Manchester City. I believe it was in the Club World Cup.
The
Then
World Cup.
he got injured. He's very talented and he needs to play and show his level. I think he's the kind of player that it doesn't matter if he's playing with Manchester City or with another team. He always plays his game and he's really good at it. And I really hope to see him play wherever he goes.
Yeah, same here. I think he's still very young and there's a lot of competition, but I think he's one of those youngsters that if he has a good season and a big season, I would not be against him being at the World Cup. Just bring him off the bench. I'm not comparing him to Messi. I just want to, because I'm about to say something and I'm not comparing him to Messi, but it would be maybe similar to when Argentina in 2006, when we had Messi, maybe come off the bench, that speed, that dribbling against a tired back line, against a tired team, have that effect. Again, I'm not comparing him to Messi, but I think if he has a big season, why not? Why not take him to the World Cup? But I don't think he's going to have a big season if he stays at Manchester City because I don't think he's going
Yeah,
to play much.
yeah, I agree. I think we have a lot of players with a lot of future, but Claudio Echeverri, Mastantuono, and Nico Paz, those are the top three, I would
Yes.
say.
Yeah.
And Echeverri, when he played in the youth Argentina divisions and
The
in
national
the
team.
tour, yeah, in the national team, he did. He was the best out of those three. I remember against Brazil. If it was an under 20 World Cup, that they won 3-0 and Echarri played incredible.
Yeah.
So I really want to see him having minutes. And if he plays at not maybe a Manchester City, but another more or less okay team, I think he has a chance to go to the World Cup.
Yeah, he's been linked elsewhere. He's been linked to, I believe, was it Napoli? I can't remember. There was a team in
Okay.
Serie or Sevilla in Spain. I can't quite remember, but he's been linked to a team that, like a pretty big team that, if he gets minutes, I think he'll do well. It's and Matias saying another one. Claudio is another one that's just on the edge. He's just there. He just needs that big break, that big season. Roma, there you are. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, that was gonna drive me crazy. Thank you for that, Roma. Although that would not be a bad idea. Matias Sule and Echeverri up front or in attack for Roma.
And Dybala.
And Dybala. There's another one. Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right, another one. Then we're going to get to Matias's comment because it's related. Manchester United, Lisandro Martinez, just coming back from a big injury, and Alejandro Garnacho. Lisandro has to stay healthy. He was. We saw how good he was last year at the Copa America, specifically the final with Cuti Romero against Colombia. That guy is a monster, and I think he has to be healthy.
He is, yeah. It's a matter. Him, even players like Lo Celso, Dybala, those are the type of players that we never doubt about the qualities. But I agree, they're very injury prone. Hopefully he stays healthy, and if he does, of course he's gonna start for Argentina in the next World Cup.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And for Garnacho, I'll bring up the comment from Matias. Do you think with other RGs at Chelsea, and if Garnacho goes there, it might help him develop more his head? To me, that's my issue. Never seen him fully committed to the shirt. I think it could certainly help. We've seen, after the Copa America final, there were clips. It was like De Paul that was close to Garnacho. Enzo's been close with Garnacho. On social media, Enzo will post something, Garnacho will reply. Garnacho will post something, Enzo will reply. So, I think being there with them might help become a little bit more level-headed and not more like him, just more the team. It could help, although, he has Lisandro Martinez at Manchester United. So,
Yeah,
it's a
I
possibility.
I believe that nowadays Manchester United is like Boca Juniors in Argentina. Nothing good can really happen. I want to be we good. And Manchester United is probably the club with the most history with Real Madrid in the world. But in the last couple of years,
Yeah.
everything that even a great player can go to Manchester United and they will still not do well. There still be a chaos and something involved, not even strictly with the football, but something else, either with the coach, the dressing room, whatever. And that's what's been happening with Boca Juniors too. I mean, now Paredes went to Boca, and Boca still struggles. They still haven't won for a while. So those are two clubs and teams that, if they don't really have too many Argentinians, maybe the best, for in terms of
Yeah.
thinking about the national team.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It could be a good thing. And you're saying this for those that don't know. Osvaldo's a big Boca Juniors fan, so he's not saying this out of hatred. He's a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
Boca fan. We'll say that. Let's get back to this here. There you go. Rian talking about Echeverri. Roma's apparently looking for a loan option. Marcus saying Suli's another player that will have a breakout season. He's developing quite well and should be at the World Cup in 2026. David, hello, David. Love from Western Sydney. Love you guys. God bless. God bless you, David. Thank you so much for joining, my friend. Hope you're safe. Hope you're well. Hope everyone is well on your end. And happy, I think it's officially Friday in Australia, maybe Friday afternoon or Friday noon. So hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Marcus, I'll agree with you on this. I'm a Barcelona fan, so United does not have more history than Barcelona. Barcelona is the second biggest club in the world. Boca is an awesome team. Respect that. There you go. Love from Brazil, from Joao. All right, let's continue on. We got a couple more Argentine players, two more specifically, and David saying it's Friday morning. Enjoy the Friday morning. Thank you for spending it with us. Up next, Nottingham Forest, Nico Dominguez, who I believe was called up for Argentina last year. I can't quite remember the match, but he got injured and was not called up again. There's another one with a lot of competition in his spot.
Yes, yes. I still think that it's a player that, well, Nottingham Forest did well last season. Nico Dominguez did also okay. Sometimes starting, sometimes he didn't. I believe that there's competition, of course, in the midfield. Not as much competition as maybe the right winger or the player behind the striker, like it could be Nico Paz, Tio Almada, and all the players we named. Nico Dominguez can play more as a center midfielder. And the ball, we'll see what happens with the ball. Of course, I think he'll be in the World Cup. We'll see if he has as many minutes as he has in the 2022 World Cup. And if he doesn't, Nico Dominguez could be a good possibility.
100%. And for the most part, he's fit. I think, I'm pretty sure he had a big injury last season, but for the most part, Nico Dominguez has been fit. He's done well with the Nottingham Forest, and playing in the pace of the Premier League, the energy and everything that has to play to his advantage. If he does get picked for Argentina at the World Cup, does he start? Probably not. But if you look, you mentioned De Paul, who in all likelihood will be there, but someone like a Lo Celso who might not be there, a Palacios who might not be there. What's going to happen with those players, with players in that position as well? Nico Dominguez is another one that, if he pushes and has a great season, might not be a big surprise if he makes it. He's someone that is consistently doing well, very consistently.
Yes.
All right, and the last Argentine in the Premier League, last but most certainly not least, the new Tottenham Hotspur captain, a goal scorer in the UEFA Super Cup final, Cuti, Christian Romero. What a season I think he's going to have.
Yes, yes. Now as the captain since Son is leaving to go to LAFC, to Los Angeles, well deserved. Cuti Romero as the captain. He scored that day. I really wanted Tottenham to win because of Romero. Basically, they were very close. It didn't end up happening. Cuti Romero with a good goal. But yeah, I hope he'll have a good season since they won the Europa League. I believe they will play the Champions League. So that means that Romero will be playing in the big tournaments this season. That is something needed, because if you think about it, we have arguably one of the two best center backs out of the top 10 in the world. But in the last couple of seasons, they haven't been playing the biggest continental tournament, that is the Champions League. So now having at least Cuti Romero playing the Champions League is gonna be good for sure.
It's going to be good, 100%. The only thing with Cuti, I'll say, because it's a World Cup year, and especially because he's captain as well, it's hopefully they don't push him too much where he plays every single match. That's going to be the big one, and it's always the part where there is a Copa America coming up, or when there is a World Cup coming up, where you want your players to play in tournaments, you want them to play and get a lot of minutes, but not too many minutes. That's the thing. And
It's true.
there's a comment here, Pepto Bismol. That's a very clever name, by the way. I wish Romero left for Atleti. Now, this would have been fun to watch. Cuti under Diego Simeone, I think, would have been an absolute bigger monster than he is now. But it's all going to be a matter of how is he going to manage the minutes that he gets, I think.
Yeah. It's true that it's a balance between. We were not really happy when Rodrigo de Paul went to Inter Miami, for example, because he would be lacking that intensity. But on the other hand, we don't want the players to be very intense this season, so they don't get injured and they get to the World Cup rested well.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Really quickly, the first match day we have. Liverpool against Bournemouth. That's going to be the first match on Friday. Friday in the Americas and in Europe as well. Liverpool, Bournemouth, reigning Premier League champions. Could be a good game. Aston Villa, Newcastle, Brighton, Fulham, Sunderland, West Ham, and there's Guido Rodriguez as well. 16 players. Guido Rodriguez with West Ham, who I don't think there's any way he gets back into the Argentina team. I don't think so. Tottenham, Burnley, Wolves, Manchester City, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Brentford, Manchester United with Arsenal, who have Gabriel Heinze as part of the coaching staff with Mikel Arteta. So Heinze going back to Old Trafford where he used to play, and Leeds United versus Everton. For me, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, and Liverpool, Bournemouth are the three matches I'm most excited to watch.
Yes, some good matches. It's gonna be exciting to see the Argentine players hopefully start most of the cases. Yeah,
absolutely. And Joel, excited for the season to start. Yes, European club season is back. It's crazy because it doesn't feel like we've had a preseason just because of the Club World Cup and everything. But officially, we are back. Marcus, Argentina still can and will beat Spain. It doesn't matter if they play in clubs together. That I agree with. All right, before we wrap things up, we got two more stuff to get to. Copa Libertadores and the Sudamericana. Not a particularly, let's say, great showing for Argentina, at least in the Libertadores. Not great.
Yeah, Vélez Sarsfield draw with Fortaleza in Brazil. That's a good result for sure. Drawing against a Brazilian team in Brazil, it's a good result. Then Racing lost in Uruguay against Peñarol 1-0. Still a result that they can turn around in Argentina.
I missed Estudiantes. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Estudiantes de La Plata at the last minute with Santiago Escasio, who scored the penalty, beat Cerro Porteño in Paraguay. A great result. And then tonight, River Plate plays against Libertad, also in Paraguay. You have those four Argentinian teams that play the first match away, which is good because that means that all the four Argentine teams qualify as first in their groups. So it's overall, so far, it's a good Libertadores for the Argentines. Then the Copa Sudamericana, Huracán lost 1-0 yesterday against Once Caldas. An away match, so they still have the home match to turn it around. Then
Independiente lost 1-0 versus Universidad de Chile.
Yes, exactly.
And Godoy Cruz are presently losing 2-1 versus Atletico Mineiro.
They started winning 1-0 in Brazil, but now they're 2-1.
Yeah, Hulk scored in the 89th minute, and Thomas Coelho, who I believe is Argentine, if I'm not mistaken, unless my memory is completely failing me.
Let me see.
Yeah, he's Argentine. There you go. I'm not crazy. Thomas Coelho scored for them. So in the Sudamericana, not a great night.
No, and then you have two Argentines playing against each other. Central Córdoba against Lanús, just in 30 minutes. They will play. But yeah, basically you have almost all the Argentine teams playing in continental cups except for Boca, who are still trying to qualify for the next one. But that's a topic for another day. Boca Juniors, Juan Roman Riquelme.
Riquelme, we were talking about Russo yesterday, and Peckerman potentially becoming manager there as well yesterday. It's never a dull moment with Boca. All right.
No.
One last thing, then we're going to wrap things up here. You could win an Argentina, a retro Argentina 1978 World Cup shirt. Osvaldo, you want to tell us how, please?
Yeah, so we're giving away an Argentina retro jersey every month. Last month it was the 1986, the away kit. This time is the home kit, the one that Mario Alberto Kempes, for example, wore in 1978 when Argentina was the World Cup champion for the first time. And basically you just need to subscribe to our website, mundoalbiceleste.com. We also have a trivia to win other prizes. For example, a ball signed by Julian Alvarez from the 2022 World Cup. We show it in previous lives. And there's also another prizes for those winners for the trivia. And it's a weekly trivia, so you have to go every week, play, participate. And if you want, Roy, I can go ahead and read to you. I know that you don't know these questions because
I
I
don't know
didn't
the
read
questions.
them
So
before,
no,
like previous times. So I also want to see if you were able to know the answers.
let's do it.
Um,
Let's do
let's
it.
do
And
it.
hopefully I don't embarrass myself too much. And let's get everybody in the chat as well to participate. Let's do this as well.
They're not very easy. They're difficult. The
Thank you.
first one is, what was Argentina's result versus Chile in their opening match of the 2021 Copa America? Copa
Uh,
America, yeah.
1-1 draw. Lionel Messi scored. It was a free kick.
Wow. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
too bad.
I didn't have written that it was a free kick and Messi score, but the result is okay.
Yeah.
It's a 1-1.
It was 1-0. Messi scored the free kick, and then I think Chile were given a penalty. Vidal took it. I think it was saved by Dibu, but he scored the rebound, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Didn't Franco Armani play that match? Oh no.
No, Dibu.
No. Dibu started.
Dibu. I'm
Was he
pretty
one of
sure.
the first ones that he's?
No, I think Armani missed it completely because of COVID. He had COVID.
That might be true. Yes. Yeah. Well, that was the good.
Let me see. I'll
No.
this I'm gonna Google 2021 just to
That's
see.
the one. Trying to think.
Argentina, Chile. Yeah, no, Dibu.
Dibu. It was one of the first matches that Dibu played.
He played versus, was it Chile, Colombia right before the qualifiers? Right
The double
before.
match.
If I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
Cool.
All
Cool.
right.
We'll see if someone in the chat can beat Roy. The first one apparently they can't. Let's see the second one.
I'm not cheating.
No, I know. Before transferring to Brighton, Facundo Buonanotte played for which Argentine club?
1-1. Not saying 1-1. I feel like I should know. I should absolutely know this. Facundo Buonanotte from Brighton. Rosario Central.
Cool. Yes.
That took me a while. That took me longer than it should have. That took me way longer than it should have. Rosario.
Did someone in the chat get it?
No one yet. No one yet. We have Rihanna, who's 1-1, and Joel telling me Roy don't cheat. So no, we're good. We're good.
And we'll go with the third one. It should be an easy one, but I don't know. How many Copa America titles has Argentina won in total?
Oh, this is a difficult one. I don't know. I'm gonna let the chat decide this one.
Okay.
I'll let the chat decide this one. If you would have told me name them all, that would have been more difficult.
Yes.
But I'll let the chat get this one. Suraj saying 16.
Yes. It is 16.
It is 16. We
have one more than Uruguay? No?
Yeah, one more, because Uruguay won their 15 in 2011. So they overtook Argentina, who was on 14, and then the back-to-back ones from Argentina. BC saying 16 technically, Joao 16, Matias 16. Yeah, there you are. 16.
Perfect. So you guys know, if you want to participate for these prizes and continue playing the weekly trivias, you can go to mundoalbiceleste.com. There you will see how to participate. So yeah, there you have it.
Nice, excellent. I like these. The Buonanotte one took me way too long to get. Way too long. But yeah, it's okay. I still got it.
That's the thing, though. The questions can be they're very random. It could be about the 1986 World Cup, or just a player from now. It could be anything related to Argentina.
Yeah, no. It is. Joao, look. It's. I read a lot. I've watched a lot of games. I've been watching for a couple of decades now. But no, there's some there's some good ones you'll be able to get. Lian, 16. All right. Before we wrap things up, anything, Osvaldo, you wanted to discuss before we close up?
No, what I told you before, Roy, that just to mention,
Yes.
yes, there's a YouTube channel, Argentina Comps, that posts on YouTube, and they've been doing some stuff with us. The latest highlights of Argentina. Soon as an Argentine player finishes playing a game, let's say Julian Álvarez play with Atletico Madrid and score one goal, they post a whole highlight reel of the player there on YouTube. So you can follow them. It's Argentina Comps. They're a good partner of us, you would say. They've also been helping promoting our website and everything. So yeah, just wanted to mention them.
Absolutely. No, 100%. We use them on Mundo Albiceleste whenever we want, highlights or anything like that. We've used them. Everything, of course, is fully hosted on YouTube. It's on their channel. So, yeah, thank you to them. Thank you to them. And thank you to you, Osvaldo, and to everybody here for joining us from all around the world. Thank you so much. As always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button to be the first person notified as soon as we go live. It's the start of the European season. It's a World Cup year. We have Argentina playing 2 matches in September. So everything kind of between now until the next 2 weeks or so might decide who makes that team in September. So a big thank you to everybody. There you go. And they got a new follower there. So Joao is going to follow them. Thank you, Joao, and thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joel, as well. Until next time, thank you so much, everybody, and take care. Bye.